So, hi, hopefully you can all hear me now. If you can, if you could give me the thumbs up, that would be great. I think that it had connected to some Apple AirPods, and my partner was sat in the garden, hence you all being able to hear the birds in the trees and hedges around us. It would be good if you could confirm that you can hear us now. And hopefully third time's a charm, right? No video or sound last time, no sound, and then fingers crossed we've got it all working. So yeah, if you want to rejoin and start to send your questions through, that would be great. What I spent 3 minutes rambling about last time was about the fact that we've got a lot of our kitchens tied up that we'd started fitting before the lockdown. So people have now got functioning kitchens, bar one poor couple whose building didn't quite get to the point that it needed to be for us to go in. But they're functioning and they're in good spirits, which is always good. So really looking forward to getting out and getting that installed once their builders have got their plastering and everything done. That would be great. Yay, we have sound. I've got confirmation. That's great. Next time I'll make sure that the earphones aren't attached. Yeah, and what we're doing now, so continuing on my previous ramble, so I was just saying about what we're doing at the moment, which is helping people plan for their new kitchens. I've had plenty of people send through their measurements for me to continue having a look at, which has been great. And we've got a how-to on our website for you to measure up your space, and details on how to take measurements and the drawing if you're looking to take down a wall as well, or maybe put in a utility area, which is quite popular these days. I'm quite happy putting those walls in where they need to be, so long as I understand the size of each room and the relation that they're into. And if you're having difficulties with that, I can always do that on a video call for you as well. Feel free to start sending your messages through. We do have some that have been sent through from customers who wanted to do it on the last live and aren't able to make this one. So we've got some people sending those through as well. But yeah, send your questions through too. Hopefully we'll have time to answer them all. If not, we'll be doing another live session later this week, and hopefully I'll get it up and running first time. Yeah, technology and me have never been a good thing, even when I was little. So yeah, you're all witnessing that. Okay, I think last time we did the live, we had a few questions come through, and a few of them come through a little bit late. So the last one that I had was about steam ovens, so the benefits of steam ovens. So there are two different steam ovens that you can get. One that is just a steamer, which is very similar to what you'd or produces similar results to what you would on a stove with a steamer set on top, or on an electric steamer. In my opinion, they're a bit pricey for what you're getting. And the true beauty is when you combine that with actual cooking. So just as you'd be able to do with an electric steamer, you can steam fish, veg, rice, potatoes, which is all great. But when you combine it with the oven function, you can really see the beauty. So you can get really juicy, moist meat roasts out of there. You can roast potatoes and steam them at the same time. So it kind of cuts down on the process there. Slow cooking, reheating your dinners, risotto, paella, all very good in there. Fresh pasta you can do as well. So you just pop the tray in and leave it to do its thing, set it and don't have to think about it, which is great. We do demonstrations regularly in the showroom, so you can always come along and do that. It is cozy. If you've been to our showroom, it is a cozy space, but it's always good fun. Everyone always enjoys themselves and are really pleased that they've come, because they understand the functions and can then think about how it would reflect upon their lifestyle and how it could improve. So yeah, that's one of the key features there. It also means that you haven't got another appliance that you've got to find a home for and store away. So it reduces the amount of storage required as well, and accessibility. So getting out an appliance or lots of steamer pots, one on top of the other, kind of them stacking out and falling off. You don't have that as an issue either. I can see that some of you are here. Please don't be shy, ask your questions. Otherwise, it's going to be a very short live session. If you want to send those through, that would be great. Okay. Oh, another question on ovens. So the bake-off ovens, yes, we do those. The Neff ovens with the slide-away door. So we've got a great range of those, starting from your entry, recently relatively simple ovens, right through to self-cleaning, so pyrolytic, where it burns off all of the dirt and you just have to wipe it out at the end, which is great. And your steam ovens and things again in with that as well. So the door slides away. Really good for galley spaces, or if you've got a tall bank of units with an island, because the door goes closer, you can physically get closer, and that walkway is still there when you're using the oven as well. So that's always something to kind of consider. We've got a great range of those, and we do the warming drawers that go with those as well, or the proving drawers if you're a bake-off fan, which will obviously help you prove your bread, warm up pastries, which is what we do on a Saturday morning, heating plates, cups, again slow cooking, but not with potatoes it doesn't quite get hot enough with. But if you wanted a slow cooked piece of pork or beef, you could do that overnight in there on a low setting, which is really good. A few more questions coming in. Advantages and disadvantages of a waste unit. Okay, so a lot of people compost, so they tend to not look at those for that. And obviously food waste, if people are doing that and happy doing that, carry on using that. But a waste disposal unit sits underneath the sink. Some of the problems people get is that they don't fully understand the operation of them, so they get a little bit smelly and things get caught in there. The important thing is that you use it correctly, so always turn on your tap before you begin using it, so the water's running down there. Switch it on, make sure the motor's going beforehand, put your food down there. The sound changes as soon as there's food down there, and then as it starts to clear again, it will change again. Keep the water running, switch the waste disposal off, and keep the water running after. That should reduce any odours in there. Obviously, it clears away all of the food waste that you've got. Tea bags, some of them even now take chicken carcasses and celery, banana peels, so you don't have those little bits and pieces left over that you still need to go out into the waste, so you can put those down there. It means that you don't have a bin that you need to empty and clear away periodically. People wonder about the effect on the environment and the water supply with those, but the really good thing is that the acids within the food that gets broken down helps break down the waste that we produce, so toilet paper and anything else that might get flushed down into the sewers. All of the acids within the food that go through the waste disposal break all that down and actually help the system as well. So if you are looking for one of those, we can supply those. So we have the ones with the blade, or the ones that we generally recommend, which twist in different directions. That's the InSinkErator Evo line. I can send you a link if you're after that, after the live, if you'd want. I'll just pop a link at the bottom for you. I hope that answers your question. If you've got anything else, just let me know on that. That's fine. Or send us through a photo so that we can make sure that that can be installed into your existing space as well. I've got another one here. Help. I don't know where to start. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Yeah, this is a common one. So feeling overwhelmed, not sure on the options, or where to start. And obviously finding someone that you trust to work with as well tends to be something that's added on to that as well. So the best thing to do is to get out there and start to talk to people. Obviously, we can't get out and see products at the moment. So if you look at things like Pinterest, Facebook, lots of projects on there for us, lots of videos as well. So you'll see befores and afters. So you can get an idea of the different feels, looks, and environments that can be created in what is an existing space or within extensions. That's always a good start for a kind of visual impact. We do have a question here to start to help you think about what you really want from your space. So about how you can change the atmosphere, look at workspaces or storage, identify where your problem areas are and what you need to change about it. In Milton Keynes, one of the biggest problems that we get with a lot of the properties that have obviously been built over the last 50 years is that most of the workspace is all in one corner. So one person's trying to prepare dinner, someone's trying to get some toast or a cup of tea, and you're all kind of in that space. So that tends to be something that people want to have a look at. Sorry, I don't feel like I'm answering this question very well. So it's generally talking and identifying what you want from the new space and the problem areas that you already have, and discussing it with someone like me so that I can help you understand what can be achieved. As I said, we do have a guide on measuring your space, and I can do that remotely as well. So I can talk you through that. So long as you've got a tape measure, and preferably not one that you'd kind of put around your waist, or do, one of those fabric ones because they're not quite long enough for a room generally, we can have a look at that and send that, talk through that, and I can start producing a design for you. Again, I can put a link on the bottom to that section of our website, and we can make an appointment to go through that as well for you. Okay. Oh, more questions coming through, but my screen hadn't scrolled up. Islands, yeah, okay, so extraction. So a lot of people want to have islands, but one, don't see how they can fit them in. Two, don't know what to put on there, and obviously it's quite popular to have hobs on that space and make it a much more social space, but worried about extraction and the appearance of it. So extraction isn't generally the prettiest thing in the world. There are some lovely ones out there, but then you tend to be giving up a bit of functionality as well. But there's a lot of things that we can do, and a lot of non-obtrusive things as well. So a lot of people see the downdraft extraction, which comes up behind the hob. So you press a button, it rises, extracts through, and then you put it down. So that's one option. There are the ceiling extractors as well. So they sit onto the ceiling, not very deep. We can make a feature out of them. If you're lucky enough to have a loft above your kitchen, we could sit that pretty flush potentially. And then as all of the steam and odours and moisture rise, that then gets drawn away. Or there is my personal favourite, which is the vented hob. So you have a section in the middle of the induction hob that draws everything straight down in there. There are mixed reviews on these online, but in our experience, it depends on how well it's been fitted, basically. So long as you follow the guidelines or have someone who understands extraction doing it, that's important. And that's key to it working well. A lot of people try to put in a too smaller duct to get it out as well. So if you have a too small, narrow duct on your extractor and are trying to drag air out of the space, it overruns the motor and doesn't do it very well. And in that case, we would look to do a recirculating kit, because you'll get a much better performance. In fact, I would say around 85% of the vented hobs that we install are on recirculating kits and give a really good result. We have that in the showroom that you can have a look at as well. Again, when we open, and we have some videos on it working, it is really effective, even against a conventional one up against a wall going straight out. It draws away the moisture incredibly quickly, And we've even had people in a reasonable kind of 3.5 by 4 meter typical sized kitchen that have had it nice and steamy in there, boosted the extraction and managed to clear that entire space very quickly. We've got some videos on that many of our customers have shared, so that's really good if you've got doubts on that at all. So yeah, and obviously we can have a look at the induction cooking as well. So induction cooking, for those of you who don't know, it is an electric form of cooking, but much more responsive than your more conventional. So a lot of people shy away from electric because of the process of it heating up and then cooling down again. You just don't have that kind of control. And people who have been using gas can sometimes feel a bit uncomfortable about not being able to see the flame. You do have settings on there, and my experience is I cook on gas here, but I use the induction at work. And when I get round to replacing my kitchen, I'll definitely be going for one of these hobs, because the range of heat on there is fantastic and really easy to control, easy to clean, and very cool around to touch. So if the pan's not on there, the hob's not heating. So the only heat on an induction hob is transferred from the pan. So yeah, very safe if you've got limited space in your kitchen, or you've got children who might be sat there doing homework at the other side on a breakfast bar. You're not going to have any issues really with third-degree burns, hopefully. Yeah, you'd have to have had something on there on a high heat for a really long time, and can't think of anything that needs a high heat for a really long time. But yeah, they do definitely get warm. You wouldn't want to touch them after an hour of a hot pan being sat on there, but that would be the same as touching a hot pan. So we've got a couple more questions coming through. Current kitchen trends. Okay, so we've got two very popular kitchens at the moment, and they're very extreme on the kind of style. So you have your handleless, your smooth, flat panelled door with the finger rail. So you wrap your fingers around there to open up those doors. The finger rails can create a lovely feature as well. So we do them in very different colours. So we've got anthracite, which is the #1 seller, kind of like a steel finish, white, bronze, copper, white I've already said. We also do them in oak now, and we can do them in painted oak. So if you wanted a contrast in there, that actually looks really good with the new shaker handleless system that we've recently launched on our page. You'll see that we've just shared one on there, so you can have an oak feature in there to add some warmth and make it less clinical. On the other end, it's painted kitchens, so kind of really big drawers, pantry features in some really contemporary colours, contemporary handles. As I've said, bronze is very popular at the moment as well, so bronze kind of handles on there as well. And just much more of a traditional feel. And then, yeah, in between, we see this handleless shaker becoming really popular. It's been within the kitchen community for a little while, and has only just really started taking off in home magazines. So we think that's really going to increase over the next couple of years, and in a wide range of colours. So you've got like the deep forest greens that are coming through, the navies, the seal grey kind of colours as well, combined with your cashmeres or your whites or light greys. So there's a lot of that coming through as well. Do we supply laminate and engineered wood flooring? Yeah, so we don't supply that, and as a company we don't recommend that you put laminate or engineered wood in your kitchen. A lot of people do still go out and do that. There are products on the market that say that they're suitable for such areas, but with them we've always found that the heat and moisture changes mean that the expansion and retraction happens a lot. making them less durable. Also, water and oil splats will affect that. As an alternative, we tend to recommend LVT, which is a luxury vinyl tile. So it's hard-wearing vinyl. It's reasonably warm underfoot, and you can do all sorts of effects. So you can have a standard kind of oak plank that runs through. You can create a herringbone and parquet effect, borders. You can have a whitewashed effect, wood on there, greys, all sorts of different colours. That would be our number one route. Alternative to that is a ceramic tile. So if you're looking perhaps at underfloor heating, porcelain. If you're looking at underfloor heating, you could have a porcelain tile on top of that, which is a really good conductor for heat, so it would warm up, but you'd still get that texture and feeling underfoot. And the appearance with your kitchen, so you can get that really warm look, or even your cooler tone woods in there as well. In fact, we did one last year which had a really rustic feel and looked like painted sanded back on the porcelain. Really, really good effect on there. Okay, wood worktops. Okay. So wood worktops are the highest maintenance worktops. They will get damaged, and it's a characteristic of them. So by damage, I kind of mean potentially little scuffs or scrapes, or if someone decides to chop something without a chopping board, which we don't recommend anyway, that is going to mark. Heat is going to affect it as well. You can sand them back and oil them, so you can bring them up to looking good again. That's great. But it is a lot of maintenance potentially. As an alternative, so most people have got busy lives, and getting around to giving your kitchen a good clean is hard enough without having to think about oiling and sanding. So what we tend to do is either keep that to a low maintenance area without a lot of sunlight on it, or we will have a look at potentially one of our bespoke laminates. So laminate worktops get quite a bad rap in my opinion, and they are much better these days. There are high quality ones and then lower quality ones as well. So you could be comparing one 3 metre length of worktop for 60, 70 pounds to a 4 metre worktop, which is 180 pounds a length. Difference in density and the work that's being carried out on them tends to be the difference, and that will affect how well it lasts. And then our bespoke range is obviously bespoke and bespoke price as well. In fact, last year we installed a laminate square edge bespoke worktop island piece, and I walked into the customer's house and had to touch it to check that it was still definitely laminate. I couldn't recall them buying a solid timber worktop, but it fooled me momentarily. They are very good and a lot less maintenance. So I'd say having a look down that road would be potentially better. Okay, in terms of worktops, while I'm having a chat about those, we do also do acrylic-based worktops in the form of Corian, quartz worktops, a huge range. So we have our own brand through to some premium brands as well, Sparkle Effects, planes, marbles, and even kind of some transparent bits in there as well, which are quite nice depending on the effect that you want. Natural granite as well, and Decton, which is a newer product to the market. It's very low maintenance and very heat resistant as well. That comes in some of the thin low profile that you may have seen, so 12mm, along with the compact laminate. So if you're looking for that really thin effect, we can create that as well. Looks really good with handler systems as well. So just a really thin kind of floating effect there. Okay, it looks like the questions are drying up a bit, so I'm going to give you all a break. And as you'll hear, my voice is starting to go a bit croaky. My coffee's gone cold. So I'm going to go and get a drink now. But thank you all for coming along, and thank you for asking your questions. As I said at the start, I'll be carrying out another live chat next week, probably looking around Friday lunchtime, I'm thinking. So as I tried before, another rerun. Hopefully I'll get it all working first time. Thank you all for your time. I hope you enjoy your Easter weekend, and stay safe and stay at home. Thanks. Take care.